Welcome to Membership Voice. I'm Kero O'Shea, the coordinator of The Voice and host for our webinar tonight. Tonight we have the webinar that I think a lot of people have been waiting for, Como Unlimited, our joint presidency starring Clementine and Adelaide. Have on the screen there. Clem and Adelaide have been part of the Rotary family for over 14 years. Their mum, of course, is a keen, passionate member of Como Rotary, which Clem and Adelaide are currently presidents of. They're both full-time professionals, Adelaide as an engineering designer and Clem as a lawyer with Saracen Mineral Holding. These guys have a busy professional life, very busy social life, and they've still fitted in the challenge of being co-presidents of the Rotary Club of Como. On that note, I shall hand over to Adelaide and Clem to give us their presentation and tell us their story. Over to you guys.
Thank you, Kero. Welcome, everyone. We just want to say thank you so much for, tuning in to Zoom to hear us talk. We'll get started. Adelaide, do you want to tell them a bit about, what your hobbies are and what you are outside of Rotary?
Yeah, so outside of Rotary, I'm incredibly busy. I work full-time, 45 plus hours a week as a mechanical designer, drawing mining equipment and materials handling stuff.
And then some fun.
I do a lot of craft, so like crocheting, knitting. I've just done some pottery. What else? Lots of things. And I have too many friends and not enough time. So it's it's mad, but joint presidency for the win.
Yeah. And I, as you heard, I'm a lawyer and I really love surfing. So most of my weekends are away from my phone, away from emails, just usually in the water. And I also love kebabs. So finish surfing and have a kebab, which is pretty nice. But our Rotary journey, we've been obviously a part of Como for 14 years, which I think is pretty phenomenal, thanks to our mum. We were in the Rotaract Club of South Perth, which was a big part of both of our lives, 4 years, I think, close to 4 years. And then we changed to Rotary and we swapped into Rotary just about the same time we both started working full time because we just didn't have the capacity anymore to give Rotaract what it deserved because it's a lot different to Rotary and it takes a lot more time and energy to really get those events going. And I guess going into why. We've got a PowerPoint we prepared, so we'll talk you through our PowerPoint at the same time.
Yeah.
So obviously Adelaide's on the top and I'm on the bottom. Adelaide's usually got her hair up and I've usually got my hair down. So into our whys, did you want to tell them?
Yeah. So helping others is my passion, and Rotaract gives me a great opportunity to help others and give back to the community. And I actually get to see where all my effort's gone. So like SOS, packing up, starting over support is short for SOS or long for SOS. And, we're collecting winter supplies. So I've told all my friends and they've dropped all the stuff off and you can see there's carloads of warm clothes for all these people that just don't have access to it. So yeah,
and mine's a little bit more selfish, I guess. I get a real buzz from helping the community and feeling good about what I'm providing for other people. So yeah, mine's fully selfish. I just like to do things that make me feel good. So that's
just like
much,
at home.
Yeah, that's pretty much why I'm in Rotary, and I guess why we both bother to take on joint presidency and been in Rotary for as many years as we have.
All right. So who is Como Rotary? Well, we were chartered in 1982. So we're a pretty old established club, old being like vintage. And then women were first accepted in 1994. So I was 3 and
I wasn't born.
So she was still so that was, that's a pretty long time ago, but we still have one active member from those first 3 originals. So
pretty amazing.
That's awesome. And then we have an honorary member as well. But basically 2020, we wanted to shake it up a bit pre-COVID, obviously. And then that came along. So that's changed everyone. We just thought, let's inject the club and make it modern and all that sort of stuff. So we thought, why not? Let's do it together. And it's a task halved is an easier task, I guess. I'm not sure what that.
And then some of our club stats. So we've got 43 members as of our last meeting. We inducted a new member, which was amazing. We've also got different membership categories, which I'm sure is not new to many people, but honorary members, we've got 7 corporate memberships. I think that is one that not many clubs are doing. So that's businesses within the community who support our club, or we support them, and they fall into corporate members. And then we've also got associate members who are sitting on the fence still. They've got a year to figure out whether or not they fully want to join the club, but we've got 6 of them, which is pretty amazing too. Some of our major projects.
So we have our annual car show. So that's at Wesley College. So
October 4th.
October 4th. It's on this year. So thankfully Wesley's on board, and you just rock up. You can just rock up and see all the cars, and then there'll be cake stalls, raffles, like all the stuff. But that's our major fundraiser for our club, and it's been going for
I think 8th annual car show. But that's definitely our kind of biggest grossing project, and it also takes, I guess, the most members' involvement. So that's pretty amazing. We also do projects with the Indonesian clubs. We do the containers for Timor. Going to East Timor, and then we've got our various community projects that thankfully our community director drives and does an amazing job with them. Okay, so joint presidency. This is probably what you're all excited to hear. So how it came about was we were getting close to the end of the year and no one had really nominated yet. A lot of our members have already done their role as presidents and maybe are not too keen to take it on again. But I guess we felt a bit, felt like it was our time after 3 years in the club to do it. But we were quite hesitant, I guess, to take on the role alone, just considering we were both working full time still. And I guess quite time poor. So, and also not confident, I think, as the youngest members, the 2 youngest members in the club. Whilst we've been in Rotary for a long time, we haven't been a part of this club for very long, and also, I guess just not confident to take on that role alone. So doing it together just adds that extra bit of courage, I guess. So that's the how and the why. The good parts about being joint presidents, as Adelaide's already said, it's the job's shared, so we can delegate tasks between the 2 of us.
Spreadsheets.
Good spreadsheets. Also, there's teamwork and collaboration, and also like shared responsibility. I think it's a big job taking on presidency, so it's lovely to have, I guess, someone to halve the risk if you fail. But no, we're hoping to do a good job. And also we're sisters, so I think that does help, because you can fight like cats and dogs and wake up the next day and you're all fine again. So that definitely helps.
A cup of tea, you know,
and you get over it pretty quickly. But that also can be a bad thing, because sometimes it's just nice to do things without your sister. And also I think another big hurdle is that it's such a new concept for not only our members but the board as well. So often, that all the emails will just go to one person. So then you're constantly CCing the other person in, or
like reply all, add in the person.
So we both try and I guess have each other's back and keep each other in the loop, and let each other know what if any decisions have been made that the other person isn't, I guess, privy to. And also the Rotary platforms are not set up for joint presidents. So,
at all.
I think I'm down as the vice president because Club Runner isn't ready for, I guess, the flexibility that we're after. So things like that are really, maybe a lot more clubs would want to do it, but it's just not something that Rotary is really ready for. So it'll be a good test.
And then because we have the 4-way test in Rotary, people don't want to put you're the president, but you can't be slotted in because there's only one name. So then, is it fair to all concerned? Well, not really, because she's the president, but then you just call you and all that sort of stuff.
She's lucky I don't mind. And the ugly I don't know. I'm sure the ugly will come up at some point during the year. It's a bit
still a bit fresh.
Yeah, to really figure out where the big challenges lie. But I guess now we'll take you into our goals for the year.
For the year, yeah. So every year the Rotary International have a theme, and this year's Rotary opens opportunities. So we sort of thought we don't want to reinvent the wheel. Rotary's done it time and time again and all that sort of thing. So we just were like, well, let's align with Rotary opens opportunities and let's roll with that. And
I'm sure like most clubs do that as well.
Yeah.
But I know we thought it was
we just went like, yeah, right. You know, it's hit the nail on the head. So we're opening lots of different opportunities this year, from tech to just engaging members. So
so we've got, I guess for the PowerPoint sake, we've got 4 key areas, and that's modernising the club, you know, really kind of preparing members for the next couple of years, and also the next wave of membership that our club will hopefully achieve, you know, and that's people like us who come from professionalised backgrounds with very
areas.
Yeah, and like very stringent corporate governance and you know, like a really computer-driven role. Like even a lawyer, like all my time is spent on the computer.
Yeah.
So it'd be awesome if we could, I guess, future-proof our club by doing the same thing that our corporations force us to do. Also re-engaging our members and the community and really building that fellowship and the bond within our club. Like Adelaide and I are not too interested in numbers this year. Like I think given COVID, we're lucky to have retained all the members we have. So, you know, thanks to our COVID plan and one of our amazing members who made a phone list and rang everyone. Like we're lucky to have kept as many as we have, but we're really looking to strengthen that and also build on our social media platforms and really get our club's name out there and the amazing work that Rotary, not just our club, is doing all over the world. So, yeah, like it's exciting, I think.
Yeah, like spread the brand because it's a good one.
Like the Rotary family.
No one knows about it.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm making a cup of tea and then I'm like, I've got Rotary meeting tonight, and everyone's like, oh, what's Rotary?
Well, they think it's the car. They think it's something to do with cars.
And you're like, what? So yeah, that's our
and more collaboration. That's another big one we'd like to do because even just I think there's 3 or 4 clubs just within our immediate area. So, you know, really leveraging that and making not only a bigger impact in South Perth and Como and surrounding suburbs, but getting Rotary WA on board and Australia and seeing what we can do as a team, you know. And then also pretty exciting, Rotary's area of new focus are really trying to work out how we can best I guess get some projects together to support that for 7th area of focus, supporting the environment. Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll go into those 4 areas and just, I guess, talk about what our plans are for each and, I guess how we're going to fulfill our aims. So through modernising, we really hope to decrease the administrative burden that a lot of directors hold, and like a lot of our directors have been directors for so many years, you know, like it's crazy how many years people were just kind of almost expected to continue their role, but they're doing such a great job, so why wouldn't they? Especially our board is doing an amazing job.
They're so good.
And also really set new members up for success. So things like finishing the public facing website and making a members portal. So we had an older website that's been redone, so we've got to finalize that, and I guess make the admin side like attendance forms and club templates, like getting the agendas together and like making a PowerPoint. We had to do this all by scratch, you know, and like if we were in a company, you just pull it from the portal or wherever it comes from, from the cyber portal, I don't know. But just really, I guess, making things easier, because as these board members might want to step down, like who's going to take that on, you know, and like really, I guess, future-proofing our club, because unless they're going to stay in the club forever, we can't expect them to just, keep carrying it. It's not fair, and it's not fair on our club to just leave it up to, that last board director to hand over everything. I don't think that's fair. Also getting our club records and history together so that, people like us can easily access, members' appointment dates and when the club was first incorporated. Even today I had to look up when women were allowed into the club. Like, I just want to be able to get those details quickly,
like fast facts.
And also we want to build the capacity of our members. So I guess PD in meetings, instead of guest speakers, sometimes we're going to look at how we can better teach and build the capacity of our members, whether that's making them a Facebook page if they want, or getting them to bring in their laptop or device and showing them how to quickly get to the things they want. Like, we just assume it's easy, but for some of them, like, the Zoom meetings were hard during COVID because they didn't have the capacity. So that's something the younger generation can really help with, and we hope to give that back to our older members, because it's a shame that they're missing out on such awesome stuff like this. Like, Carer's membership voice, I think, is lost on so many people because they're just not on Facebook, like, it pumps out really good development, and it's not utilized really.
And I suppose it gives us as younger people a bit of a purpose as well. Like, me going and helping others, I can show someone how to log into our website or our members portal and go, oh, you can get the Ryla form just here, because I got sent it because I'm the president, and now I can just upload it into our little section for September, and you can send links, and
just
it's really
making everything easier, for
easy
people.
And just not hard anymore.
And also really celebrating our achievements and broadcasting them to the wider community. Again, like, our community director does an amazing job, and he's found a public, what do you call that? Like, someone to write articles for us and help us on that side. But, just engaging. We've got, I think, almost 1,700 on Facebook, and we should be really promoting what we do. So, that's modernisation.
So engagement is one of our key areas for this year. And we've done a lot of planning behind the scenes with just the two of us and the board. We've got our strategy and all the things that our board wants to achieve and what we want to achieve, and we've combined it into a 2-year calendar for ourselves. But then we've also made an immediate sort of 12-month look ahead, which is the background shot you can see a little bit of just all the different activities, international projects we're having, fundraising activities. So it's all there, it's all transparent, everyone can see what we're doing. Like, clearly there's like fun in there, there's the certain Rotary events that we have to attend, and then you've got the Christmas party, and you've got our website launch, like, just all the information that I want to see at a drop of a hat, and I just assume other people want to see it as well. So we've done that. We've restructured our whole meeting. So as the presidents of Como Rotary have to run the meeting every Monday night. And so we've changed the structure a bit, and we've actually managed to save, in our first meeting, we saved 15 minutes. So
which is huge. I might
it's
add.
A lot. Yeah,
that's incredible. So
we could have all just gone home after that 15 minutes, but we were like, we looked at each other and we were like, we're 15 minutes ahead. Like, what do you want to do? So
stalled the agenda a bit, and like, everyone was so chatty, and it was just amazing to sit back and see people actually like engaging one another, and like as presidents, I'm like, whoa, this club loves each other.
Like, they're all friends, and that kind of thing. And so that was really like, then you get a bit of a buzz, and you're like, oh yes, we've we've done a good thing. And we've had quite a few people say like, oh, they're really liking the new structure.
Not only people, some of the older members.
Yeah,
I think that's good.
Because we have fairly traditional club, I think is safe to say. We still do, like, we do the toast and we do the charge, but frankly, I don't mind the toast, and Clem loves the charge. So, and if that's the little thing that, because at the end of the day, that's the small stuff is, matters to a lot of people, and it takes a minute to read out the charge at the end, and that's no skin off my nose, it's no skin off Clem's nose, and it ties the whole meeting back together. And we thank everyone there, and we acknowledge all the guests that have come and everything. And it's just easy. It's not like we're changing it too drastically. We don't sing anymore, which is wonderful.
Aside from
So don't fear if you come to visit the club. We won't be singing, so you don't have to warm up. But we generally have a guest speaker at every meeting, and because we're so busy, we want to make sure that the meetings are planned and organised.
And also they're quality speakers. Like, like we want people to really have fun and look forward to the meetings. We don't want them to say, oh, this guy again. And sort of almost like leave the meeting either learnt something or just left with a bit of joy and a spring in their step. So we try to make sure that we definitely have the next 3 months locked in, but we want to continue that on. So then we're not going to like January and be like, oh, we need speakers, and then stress out because we don't have any time to ring around and organize and all that sort of thing. So and then because we have a lot of international members, not only members but like affiliates
clubs. And clubs and stuff, and clearly at the moment they're all stuck overseas, so they can't come and visit us and we can't go and visit them. So we've locked in a couple of Zoom meetings with them to so that everyone can just log in and we can all talk and just hang out, and it'd be slightly more social, but we'll do like a quarterly update and all of that and
see what the clubs are up to. And don't worry, Kara, you're invited. All right, next, collaboration. So Adelaide and I think this is quite an important one, because we find that too many clubs are just doing their own things in their own little bubbles and not really realising the impact they can make if they just, picked up the phone or had a meeting, with another president and see where they could collaborate. So as part of this, we've contacted our two local clubs, and we haven't yet, but we've scheduled in coffee with them just to kind of open those lines of communication. We're also thinking of venturing to the other side of the river, which is a bit daunting. So like a bit more mingling with the district. There's a few clubs that are really kind of engaging younger members too, sort of interesting to see what different things they're doing and maybe learn from them. Also, just looking at what projects they do, because we're all in WA, but seems like the two districts just don't do things together. It just drives me crazy. And also just researching and broadening I guess our horizons and seeing what America's doing, what Europe's doing, and just some cool projects, like especially with the new 7th area of focus. Like, it's such a cool opportunity to make a real big difference. And I know Europe, they're like on the money when it comes to environment and recycling and all those kind of things. So it'd be cool if to see if we can pick up on any of that. And also really trying to help the Rotary family. So Rotaractors, Interactors, we've got one Interact club, which is pretty cool. And we've also, like our Rotaract club of South Perth folded, which is a huge shame. But, we just have to kind of accept it and then find the other Rotaract clubs and really see how we can support them, whether that be inviting them to our events or buying tickets to their events, or just seeing what they need. Maybe it's, maybe it's learning about cars from one of our members. Who knows? But there's such a big opportunity there. And especially to bridge that gap between Rotary and Rotaract. So it'd be amazing if we could, help that along as best we can.
Yeah. Especially because the 9455 and 9465 district conference is all one this year.
For Rotaract.
For Rotary.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So great opportunity. And I guess this one is me as well. So why Rotary is an initiative, I guess I started, but our club is driving it. And it's really just a peaceful, modern, fun, and an amazing place where people in and out of Rotary can really see why Rotarians have chosen Rotary, have stayed in Rotary and joined in the first place. And it's just, it's really just a website canvassing all those reasons. And, a few of our really, I don't know what word you'd use, but crucial, long-standing, amazing members have passed away recently. And I'm like kicking myself that I didn't do it a few years ago, so I could have their reason and really create a legacy for our club. Because reading them, and as I get all these responses, reading them and making these little graphics like you'll see on the screen has just like made me so much more enthused about Rotary and passionate, I guess. And yeah, hearing each and individual's reason why they've joined is so special, because we all join for different reasons, and it's, yeah, who knows why, but you see one and you might just connect with that individual, and then it goes from there. So yeah, it's really taken off. Really. It's gone global. We've got responses from the UK, Philippines, Canada, US,
Germany.
Yeah, like it's just so cool.
I think everyone's a bit surprised because there isn't already a website like this with all your ideas and like even just personal clubs don't have like a list of why their members sort of joined, and sort of like Clem sort of came home and be like, oh, I've started this, like what do you think? And I was like, oh, that's tops, because you know, my friends were like, oh, why do you do Rotary? And I'm like, oh, I do it because of this. And they don't have a lot of, like, I don't know, they don't get the same vibe as I had as my why Rotary, but now I can go, oh, hey, check this out.
And they can go like every members, and they might just read one and it really connects with them.
Oh, I didn't know you could go and do that.
Yeah. So, and even our mums pointed two people there already, and they're like, oh, it's so cool. Like there's so many different reasons to join. So it's been actually really fun and quite rewarding putting it all together. And I guess like a couple members of our club are helping us create all the graphics and keep the website updated. I've had chats with Rotary International as well, and they're fully on board, which is super cool. One guy's helping me make it, I guess, more compliant, because who knows what the Rotary compliance rules are, and there's always issues there. But it's just so cool to see everyone's reasons from all over the world and have them in one spot. So I'm hoping that people start pinching them off the website and putting them on their own websites. Using them on Instagram, all of that stuff. So, you know, the good word of Rotary spread around the world for everyone to see.
A positive virus.
Yeah, really, really positive
virus.
Yeah, that's hopefully. But yeah, that's, I guess, all from us. Is there any questions?
What do you think?
I hope not.
Well, there are one or two here, ladies.
Oh, in the chat room.
Well, yes. In fact, we might start with Andrea's question, because I heard a whole heap of great ideas combined with a massive enthusiasm and a sense of oneness. Now, obviously, you know, as the year sort of goes on, there'll be challenges as you go along the way. But Andrea's question was, can you carry on the role for 2 years? Now, that's doable under the rules. The question is, you know, if the club came to you and said, we love what you're doing and this tandem is working like a dream, would you consider going for 2 years? Because obviously the earlier you make that call, the more that you can do long-term planning. Whereas if you just add it on, it becomes 2 at 1 years rather than the possibility of an extended and perhaps very, very positive time in office. What do you think?
We both are like, who wants to answer first? Don't lock me into anything. We haven't actually discussed it.
We've not. I suppose we have got a sort of a 3-year planner that we're progressing and we're adding to sort of weekly. I suppose whether we continue that on or we, you know, phase someone else in to continue that on will be the question. And I think it's too early to tell or to say yes or no whether we're going to do it.
And I think that's one of the biggest, maybe not the biggest, but an issue clubs have is that kind of transition from year to year, and you lose that momentum. So like I would like us to keep going if we have the energy and if it's been a good year. And, you know, really try and carry those things through. But I think as well, if we make these good foundations, like we're doing quite a lot of strategy planning with the board, we've made them all kind of give us their 1-pagers and what their KPIs are for the year. Yeah. So we need to progress them with the board and get a meeting together and I guess, canvas where the club's going. So I think if everyone's on board with that, I guess, strategic plan, whatever it turns out to be, hopefully the next president will carry that through regardless. Like, you know, I would like to see more long-term planning in a club rather than just 1 year.
12 months.
You know, like we should be planning for long. But, you know, maybe it's 4 years, maybe it's 2 together, 1 each. Who knows? But we won't say no just yet.
I won't say yes either.
Fantastic. Thank you, Clem and Adelaide. Question. There was an interesting question, another question, a follow-up question there from Andrea. But strategic planning. Does Rotary Como have a formal strategic plan?
Not that I've seen, but maybe John could enlighten us because he's been on the board for a very long time. I guess what Adelaide and I are trying to put together is more foundation. I don't know if you'd call it a strategic plan in the formal sense, because what I've seen is usually quite long term and really kind of sticks you into all these goals and everything. But I guess what we've done is asked each board member to deliver their strategy for the year, to hope that we can align with their plans and see what else we could do. And then I'm really into visuals, so I've taken all of them and I've taken all the words and made little pictures, and I'm yet to show the board, but it's pretty exciting. But yeah, like if we do have a strategic plan, I'd love to see it and see how, I guess, the goals that the board's given us for their year actually aligns with that, and how we can even progress that formal strategic plan further. You know, because there's no point having one if we're not working towards it, and if the members aren't on board, and if the board isn't on board. So, you know, it's something that obviously needs revising because I haven't seen it yet. All right. Any others?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay, I want to go to some topical things, and one of the challenges facing Rotary at the moment is that about 1 in 4 of our members is a woman, and about 40% of our key jobs are filled by women. So there's a very definite, very, very positive contribution there to successful young women leading a Rotary club. What do you think needs to change for Rotary to be more attractive, say, to women in general and to young women in particular?
Yeah, it's a hard one. I actually am surprised at the stat because I would say it's less. I would honestly say it's less.
In reality.
And our club has struggled with retaining female members. Like the newest member we've just appointed as an associate member, she's a woman. She's also been my friend for a very long time. So I think, to be honest, our club, and I'm sure many other clubs, need to be more maybe welcoming towards women, appeal to what women like, which is chatting, fun, fellowship, you know, like,
and like
actually
doing like physically, you know, we sort of work with our hands.
Well, I know, like, we can only speak from our opinion and who we are. So I definitely can't speak for all women, but I feel like often, especially at meetings, which is the main fellowship time, like you can't say it isn't because that's the most regular place we all catch up. It's quite boring. So unless you have a really captivating guest speaker or you're on a table with all the women and you're having fun, like girls like to be girls. So like I quite often sit with other women just because I like the chatter and I get on better. Like how to win friends and influence people, find common interests. So maybe that's what we need to be focusing more on and almost like what's the word, like finding the women and protecting them and really making them feel welcome and valued and all those kind of things. I think we need to be more personalized, if that's
a good word for it.
Like really not target them, but actually make them feel special and valued as a member, like not just come in, come out, thanks for your time. So I think I would struggle to stay if my sister and mum weren't there, to be honest. Because I like their time and I get on with them and we have a lot to talk about, you know, unless I really tried hard to foster other good relationships. And we do have some amazing women in our club, thankfully, because otherwise it would be harder for me to stay personally.
like partners night's always great because all the ladies rock up and it's like,
wives
oh, hi.
Yeah.
And like, because I don't know, I do a lot of craft and a lot of a lot of their partners are like just into it. We could just like, you just yap all the time, and you sort of like they have to go shh, someone's like and all this and all that kind of thing. But it's, I don't know, we just talk. Girls talk.
And I think it's the same in every organisation. Like women will awfully probably align better with women, men align better with men. It's normal. But I think we need to really, look at it and try and retain more women just in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked before about the possibility of extending your term as presidents, but just looking at the 12 months, you've both got jobs, but demanding jobs. You work full time. The question is, what are you sacrificing to enable you to be successful Rotary Club presidents? What sort of sacrifices are involved?
As in outside of Rotary. So what?
Well, yes.
Okay. My sleep at the moment. Big one. Yeah, and it's actually, sometimes I have to leave work early, or we have to leave work early to attend the board meetings.
And I'll go to work later, but then I'll stay sort of until sometimes I have to catch the bus from work straight to the meeting, and I don't have time to even change or anything, and it's too hard
brush
to
your teeth. Like it's nice to come fresh
and all that sort of stuff. I spend all day on a computer, and then I come home and I have to try and make a quarterly plan or do some computer work, and that's sort of the last thing I want to do. I just want to close my eyes, but not sleep, but just not be in front of all the technology. And the last sort of few weeks,
and it is a drain because a lot of my friends will go after work and play sport, or go after work and have dinner with their friends. And I'm like, oh no, I've got a few jobs to do.
Sorry, can't go.
So it's I guess
and that's
you're just sacrificing life, but it's rewarding, so it's not a sacrifice. We feel good doing it, and this club means a lot to us, so we try really hard to not think of it like sacrifices.
And when we were talking about it back at Christmas, we were both like, we can't commit, we can't do 12 months, but hey, actually, what if we did it together? We could then, you could still go out with your mates, I could go out with my mates, and we could still then sort of do it. So it's
even chairing the meeting. So we take turns, one about. So it just means, okay, so you get a week's rest, you don't have to be up on the microphone after you've done 8 hours at work. It's exhausting. So that's a nice little point. We've got an answer from John. So the strat plan is in place, but it needs to be reviewed. So I'm all for that. Adelaide's all for that. So we'll definitely be looking into that. To answer that or tie off that question, Kiara.
Fantastic. Thank you. Question. Now, there's a good one from Andrea, which I think really quantifies what we're talking about. How many hours per week would you, on average, have to commit to the presidency? If you could perhaps deal with this one individually, maybe Adelaide, if you could start with that, please.
So initially, it's a lot. As in, I'd probably say over the week, maybe 8 hours to try and get all your Excel spreadsheets, your templates and all of that set up, and combining all the strategic planning and everything. But now that we've got that routine, I've set up all the meetings for the rest of the year. So now all I have to do is go in sort of, the Thursday before the next Monday and make sure that the chair's in there and all the people are in there and the topics in there. And that takes about, 5 minutes if I'm on point and focused. So then you'd sort of pull it out to maybe, 4 hours a week or 2 hours a week, depending on if we, the Christmas in July we had on Monday, and that took a bit of time because I put my hand up to organise the quiz, organise the word search, and so that was extra time. But I think once we're in the full swing, max 2 hours a week for actually just continually rolling the job on. And then, but it ebbs and flows. Some weeks it's 5 minutes, some weeks it's 4 hours because we've gone, right, we need to work out the presentation and how we want to do it, and you hash it out and do it that way.
I'm a bit the same. I think between probably 8 and 12 hours a week, a little bit more sometimes because I've got like doing all the wire Rotary stuff. So there's like a heap of things in my inbox that I need to do. But also, like I think the initial kind of legwork is a lot because you want to put some plans in place and really make your mark on the year, I guess, and
hit the ground running.
Yeah, and like getting all the strategies back from the board. Now you sit there and review it and see how, I guess, our goals align with them and where we want to take things. Event planning, we adopted 2 spots as part of the environment, so had to go on register all of those. Then you've got to make all the Facebook events for the year,
all the posters.
Yeah,
we're having a welcome back party, sort of awards night.
So we're arranging that at the moment,
organising the dinner, the band, all that.
Yeah,
and they
so
ring you
at
any time.
There is a lot to do, but we're hoping because we're thinking long term and I guess building capacity of the club and future proofing, we're hoping that all the efforts we do will be, I guess, carried on each year by, hopefully the next young president or even an existing member being president. But it would be nice that it's not wasted, I guess. So we're trying.
Fingers crossed it won't be.
Well, it's fascinating that 14 months ago now, the world was applauding Como Rotary for having a new young president. Ian Paul.
Exactly.
You guys come along and make it. Ian's in the audience. I've got to be careful here, but
but Ian was good. He did. He's put a smile in. But so Ian did the first part of the public website. So that was a huge achievement. Just bringing that.
To 2020.
Getting the club it's like a facelift, it's like buying some new L'Oreal face cream and just getting a facelift. But so now we've got to, I guess, use what he's done and really stretch that, really get the members' internal website on, get the Facebook and Instagram up to scratch, really, I guess, take his mark and make it even bigger impact. Yeah.
So there really is a form of progressive club building plan in place here that Ian started some things and you guys are continuing that on.
Yep. I would hope so, yeah. If you didn't, what's the point? You might as well just stop, close your little suitcase and off you go every year because...
It would be nice if everyone had that philosophy, but unfortunately... One of the downsides of the 12-month turnaround of the presidency is you don't always have that continuity. But there are a couple of other thoughts that I would like to run past you. And this issue of leadership, we've talked about women in Rotary, which is obviously a critical issue, but there's another one that I believe is important for very similar reasons in terms of balancing our demographics and the like. Young leaders, you guys are classic case, young co-leaders of a Rotary club. And sometimes when people say young leaders, what they really mean is trainee leaders and all that sort of stuff. But leaving that to one side and accepting the authenticity of young people as leaders of Rotary clubs, how do we attract more young people to follow you guys into leadership roles like being club presidents?
I don't like that question. I think it's difficult because, young leaders is 30 in Rotary terms, and before that they're meant to be in Rotaract, and Rotaract is very different. Rotaract, is very different to Rotary. Not a good or a bad thing, just different. It's more grassroots. It's more, everyone's still at uni, so you have all this time to give. You are with a whole bunch of other like-minded people, and then you suddenly go to Rotary, which is a lot more professional. There's higher standards. It doesn't attract young people. But I think there's a lot of clubs out there now doing different things. I know one club just meets at a bar and they don't do any business. And as a result, they've got a lot of young people who want to go to a bar. I don't like drinking. Adelaide's not a big drinker. So Como really suits us. But I think, you don't just want young members. You want people who align with your club, its values.
Yeah, you shouldn't be just sort of fishing for younger people.
It's not the answer. It definitely isn't.
You need to get people that, align with your club's values, ethics,
vision, strategy,
ideas, because like one of the biggest reasons why I've ended up at Como Rotary is because because we meet at nighttime. I have no interest in doing a 7 a.m. meeting because that's not me.
Yeah.
You know, like big, massive bags under my eyes and then having to then like run from the meeting to work. Like, no, thanks, you know. But yeah, it's sort of I don't believe we should be getting young members just to be in positions. Like they need to be in the club for them, and you as the club need to then support what they want to do.
Yeah, individually too. We can't just say, oh, let's get young people and then we're all in the same boat. We're not. Adelaide and I are so different. My new friend Megan, who's just joined the club, is so different. You know, like we're totally different. We all have different skills.
But we're all young.
Yeah, like just because we fit into this age group doesn't mean anything. Like I could just say, all the old people do this, you know, like it's not fair because all of them have different abilities, capabilities, skills, experience. And also as a volunteer organization, they all have different abilities to give, you know, and you can't just expect every member to give the same because they don't. And you can't force them because they'll just leave. So I think like a slow, steady growth with people who align with Como Rotary and what we want to achieve is the way to go. And you only do that through word of mouth or people seeing what we do and loving it and coming along. Like the door is open. We've got to show them that it's open, you know, and hope they come in. We can't go fishing. I'm not interested in fishing.
And I think a lot of like, I suppose we're young professionals and we're both in companies that are very
like ASX 100, like they toe the line, they have good corporate governance, they have very easy things that we just follow.
You know, if I want a template for a letter, I can literally go download template. I don't have to think, oh, how would I make it, you know? And so by
modernising the club, which is one of our big goals for the year,
we can actually
attract those younger people because our systems are ready for them. You know, like our expectations are here and our club is operating at this level, you know, and it's not for lack of professionalism. Our board is very professional. It's just our systems don't support them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like if we can give anything back to the club, it would be assisting them with the admin, to be honest, because it should be a lot easier than it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. That was a long answer.
I just went a bit like.
I love the way you guys are hitting these questions out of the park. Magic. Well, I've got one that links back to something that you said, obviously to your own past experience, but something you mentioned about 5 minutes ago, and that is about Rotaractors. As we've discussed before, about 5% of our Rotaractor community moves into Rotary. Como is particularly fortunate to have you guys and Ian Ball. But 93, a survey that I think Beck Fry did a while ago, 93% of Rotaractors say they're interested in moving to Rotary, but only 5% do. So there's a massive gap there. From your own experience, and I appreciate that this is the same reason as we can't vanillarize old people or young people. We can't vanillarize all Rotaractors, but that huge gap does suggest something. I mean, I don't know what the suggestion is, but what sort of thoughts would you offer there? How we might improve that transition rate from Rotaract to Rotary?
The biggest thing I think is bridging the gap and actually making friends. Us Como Rotary, we know pretty much all of the members personally, and we've known them since we started in Rotaract. You know, I was 19. And that was 10 years ago, nearly in October. Pretty exciting. But because I know Pam, I know John, I know Andrea, so I didn't feel like I was worried about just rocking up without anyone. I could just rock up and be like, "Hi, John, how are you? How was the men's shed last week?" And he'd be like, "Oh yeah, it was great, thanks." But you've created that rapport already, so we didn't really have to, I suppose, try very hard to make friends in the Rotary Club. So it was a really easy, just walk across the road and you're in it. You know, it wasn't that hard. But a lot of the old South Perth Rotaract members didn't really know anyone so then they were very less likely to come over. And I think I was the president of the Rotaract Club at one stage, and that was full on. That was really intense. And then I did my year and I was like, oh, and then everyone's like, oh, be the district Rotaract representative. And I was like, I just don't have the time. So then I was like, okay, well, I've sort of achieved everything I can at Rotaract. I know the people at Rotary. It's a really easy sort of cross the road and I'm in there, and I'm not going to be hassled to be on the board or to do anything. I could just keep doing what I was doing in Rotaract, but then just do it in a Rotary sense and still have all of that. And what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I think as well, it goes back to the reasons why people join. So in Rotaract specifically, like at our club, there was multiple reasons. Like there was one, which is, serving your community and volunteering. There was, Adelaide and I joined for that. There's another, we found people wanted to join to build their board experience and get, a community service board on their resumes. And there was another reason, making friends. That was a big reason. So all these different reasons why people join a club doesn't necessarily translate to them joining a Rotary Club, and like Adelaide just said, the big hurdle when you suddenly reach 24, 25, 26 and you have to enter a professional environment, you have no time anymore. And also there is a big gap in what the Rotary standard is and what the Rotaract standard is. So I don't think a Rotaract meeting and how they operate translates very well to how a Rotary meeting and how they operate. They're not the same. They're very different. So whilst you're familiar with Rotary and its projects, maybe you're not looking for that kind of meeting. You want more fun. You want more fellowship. You want more friends.
You just want to hang out.
And suddenly you're like with all these 20-year-olds, and then you've got to start making friends with 40, 50, 80-year-olds. So it's they're very different organizations. I don't think if our mum was in the club and we had that early Rotary influence, we would have joined. I don't think,
probably not.
Yeah, unless,
which is disappointing, but it also
but it's just you're not familiar. Yeah. I think at the end of the day. So I think maybe what those other clubs are doing about meeting at bars and making it more appealing to younger professionals is the right way to go. And maybe once they've done that stage in their life, they'll transition into another club who just does a standard meeting at a restaurant or something, and it's more formal. I think there's honestly a club for everyone, and it's just about how those Rotaractors research what club they want to join or talk to the right Rotarians who point them in the right direction. Yeah. I'll definitely tell any Rotaractor, don't leave, just find the right club for you. Yeah. Same as if I get sick of Como, which I really hope I don't, but I hope I wouldn't leave Rotary. I'd just find a club that suits my interests at the time. We're evolving humans. You can't expect one community organisation to fulfill that for your entire life, I don't think. And that's a pretty high expectation to put on your Rotary Club. So it's a reality check, I think. It's not fair to expect that much from one club of, in our case, 43 members. I can't fulfill your life's destiny. I'm sorry.
Okay. While we're talking about that, Andrea's thrown another great question in here. She's talking here about mentoring.
Yeah.
When she first joined, she had a buddy and a mentor, and there was perhaps a little more variety and whatever. I think this is tapping into something here because a number of successful Rotary clubs, like Rotary Melbourne, where it all began in Australia, has a brilliant mentoring program, very, very well organised. And they attribute their recent growth in membership to the fact that everybody who comes in has a mentor. Is mentoring or some form of mentoring part of your plans?
So are you talking in terms of Rotarians to Rotarians or Rotarians to Rotaracts?
Within a Rotary club, people arrive, say a new member arrives, and they're given a mentor. And co-mentoring is a very powerful concept, a two-way thing rather than like a trainer and a trainee.
Yeah.
Could you see that working with Como, say, because you've got a lot of experience there?
Yeah, so Como does have a mentoring program. Adelaide's mentor was Les, isn't it? Yeah. So she's had a lot of she's loved her relationship with her mentor. And that's,
we go for beers. It's great.
I think it works really well. But at the end of the day, it goes back to, like an authentic relationship and actually having things in common. So whilst it's awesome to have almost like a welcome buddy and someone to, I guess, take you through those early years, I think it's a lot more beneficial if the individual member can find someone in the club who they really get on with. And I guess that's our job as members, to really tease out their interests and put a lot of value on building that personal connection, because if we don't, we'll lose them. So I like more the authentic mentoring and like genuine friendship.
Because I think mentoring, the word itself, is a bit scary to some people, because it's like this responsibility to look after someone and like guide them through this journey. But your journey and my journey are very different. We're just sort of we're on the same path at the moment. And so I think,
but I definitely think it's a good idea for someone, at least someone, to be appointed to welcome them in, tell them the ins and outs, what all the acronyms mean, all those kind of hit the nail on the head points. Because, and especially the younger members, I think it's crucial, because Rotary and Rotaract are very different. And if I was entering without having Rotaract, I wouldn't know a lot at all. So having an older or more experienced member to actually take me through Rotary and all the foundations and the values and, what the motto even means, would be amazing. And it would probably mean I stayed in for a lot longer, because I really get what the whole point is.
But that's the thing, isn't it? If you understand something and you understand the why, and it aligns with your
it grabs you, it takes the hold.
When we were talking last week, I mentioned the presentation that Amanda Wendt, who's a district governor nominee, about early 30s in Melbourne. She did this amazing presentation where she made one point. That was that young people, let's say guys, say people in their 20s and whatever, young professionals, success people who have a good sort of tertiary education and the like, are still looking to develop soft skills in life. And one of the things that they can get from the right sort of senior managers and whatever Rotarians in their clubs who've had successful business careers, is the development of these soft skills, the things that you can't necessarily just go and learn directly, that sort of come with life's experience and the like. How rich is Rotary Como in terms of developing those skills for young people? Because, I mean, you're probably in that sort of situation. So there's a question about another thing that your club might have to offer.
You want me to do it?
You can start.
So in terms of soft skills, I think being part of Como, I've developed public speaking. Like, it's no one bats an eyelid whether you are nervous, not nervous. You're just expected to get on the microphone and off you go, So that's been good. Even just learning to communicate with, the older demographic. I think it's been a huge lesson for us, because you're in your uni and then you suddenly go into the working life and you are surrounded by older people everywhere, who are all more experienced, way more eloquent than I am. And just being at the Rotary every Monday, you learn how to actually communicate with older people. That's been amazing. Les, our secretary, has taught me so much about being on a board and those governance skills. So much so that I've got the confidence to go on other community boards. Gardening, don't knock gardening, but there's been a few tips thrown around that I really love.
But the thing is, I think they're more than happy to share their tips and tricks. And I work in an engineering firm, and it's all very proper, and but you don't get a chance to actually public speak in a meeting or stand up and say your piece in front of a big crowd. But Rotary, here you go, here's the mic, start talking, And but then if you are sort of worried or nervous, people go, oh no, you did a great job.
Yeah, they're so encouraging.
And they're just sort of like, no, take a big breath before you start and have some water on the side.
Yeah, thanks, girl. That was one of Caro's tips.
Yeah, they're actually more than happy to help you on your way.
Yeah.
And
I think no one wants to see you fail, which is
really great.
So lovely.
It's helped in my professional work. I've learnt so much from Rotary that I've actually taken to work. And people go, oh, wow, Adelaide's really like professional. She knows what she's talking about. Very like, emails are very succinct and all that sort of stuff. And that's all come from Rotary because I've had to learn it quickly and more than, the other people that I work with that are my age. Like people ring me that are my age and go, oh, what would you say about this? And I'm like, oh, well, with blah, blah, blah and all that kind of thing. So,
and even just seeing how other members conduct themselves, like, how our board members deliver their reports every week, how they drive and delegate other members who are volunteers. Like you can't underestimate the fact that everyone here is a volunteer, like that is crazy. And how Rotary runs on volunteers is pretty phenomenal at the very least. So just seeing how they actually, get control of their army and actually get them going towards the goal. Yeah, I think it's amazing how you can do that with people who are not being paid. Yeah, so they're all amazing skills, and I think we're quite lucky with our members that they're pretty good.
And I suppose we're hungry to learn, so we're going to be like one of the guys is really good with cars, and I'm like, I need to learn how to change a tire, and he goes, don't worry, I'll teach you. When are you available? And I'm like, oh, have you got a space in October? And he's like, yes, I'll be ready, So it's
not just like soft kind of governance skills. It's really like life.
It's it's life.
Yeah. Pam's always showing us how to do crafts as well.
One of the, I would love to keep this going for ages yet, but I think I did make a commitment that we wouldn't do that because we could cover stuff all night. And I generally reckon that if I can get an hour from the fabulous people who come and present on Membership Voice, they've made a great contribution. And we've passed the hour mark now. But
sorry to a brick wall.
No, this is fantastic stuff. There is one thing though, I would like to book a round 2 sometime.
Okay.
Yeah. This is wonderful. But more about that one later. What I'd like to do now, please, with each of you, and you can toss a coin to see where the older sister goes first or younger. If you'd like to just sort of sum up and perhaps make any final points, it doesn't have to be a summary, but just any sort of final points that you'd like to make before we close up, because I think that would round things off nicely. Adelaide, would you like to go first?
Yeah, sure. I think in summary, we're young, we want to have fun, and Rotary is very serious. It's a very good organisation, but we're just sort of injecting like young passion into it, and if we've got the passion, we want to share it with like our own club and everyone around us. So if we can do that, then I think we've been pretty successful in our 12 months, and look forward to all the collaboration that we've got coming up with everywhere and everyone. So hang in there and check in later, I guess.
And I guess I know, obviously following on from that, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure on younger members to deliver this ray of sunshine and hope, and I guess bring every club into the next generation and save Rotary, so to speak. I think that's unrealistic, to put it politely, and we can only do what we can do. And I feel like we've been given like an incredible opportunity from the club, especially as joint presidents, and almost a mandate to change and to see what influence we can have over the club. But no change will be very successful unless we have all the members and the board on board, which is a weird sentence.
On side.
On side with our changes. But so I'm quite excited to see where this club goes in the next year. But I'm also quite excited to bring
the members with
us. Exactly. So get them on board. I'd prefer slow, steady changes that have 100% success, to be honest. But yeah, we're pretty excited about the year. Very excited to have Colin as the district governor.
Yeah, he's from our club.
So we'll see what influence we can have there as well. But yeah, so pretty excited to see where the year
and
goes.
be the foundation for the next 20, 40 years, you know.
Yeah, really set place some good let's call it templates, but really set the club up for success and for the younger generation to come through. Yeah.
Well, and Adelaide, that has just been a pure gold flow of energy, ideas. Right? What we're going to do now, because that's just been absolutely fantastic, is give these guys a round of applause. So, ready, guys.
Well, I thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
That has been brilliant.